My dear children of God, my dear children of the Rishis and Munis, tonight we welcome you on behalf of my Bhaiya Valmiki, affectionately called Bhaiya Val, and his Dulhin, my Didi Wendy ji, and their three wonderful children, Brandon ji, Valmiki ji, Vashisht ji, Valmiki is the dad, Vashisht ji, and of course, Ved. So on their behalf, we thank you for joining with us in this evening of prayer, in this evening of worship, and in this evening of thanksgiving. It is always a blessing and an honor and a joy and a privilege to be in this beautiful mandir, the Scots Road Mandir, and of course the opportunity for all of us, especially our viewers and listeners on Sankhya TV. And so on behalf of Bhaiya Val and Didi Wendy ji, we say Shubh Swagatam and a warm and a very, very special welcome. This evening, we were invited to join the Chun family, Bhaiya Val ji and Didi Wendy, in a very important and in a very significant milestone, mile mark in their lives. There are so many challenges that faces a married couple. And now to stay married for 1 year is a challenge by itself. There are so many forces that would work against us. And so to be able to celebrate 20 years indeed is a significant mile mark for reflection, introspection, and tonight, celebration. And they have come together with their children and their family and their loved ones and all of us. And they have chosen to share this evening with all of us. They could have done a very little puja, they could have called the Pundit and done something at their home with their little direct family. But they have chosen to celebrate this occasion, and by calling the people that they love and that they consider near and dear, and now the opportunity presents itself with all of us to give thanks to God. There are moments that could sometimes challenge the very best of us. In the Ramayana, if we were to look for a definition for the term marriage, it is very difficult to find. Many years ago, I had the opportunity, when I had just started doing yagnas and satsang, I had the opportunity to join with a very elderly couple in the Cedrus Peninsula, and they were celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary. 60 years. So that is, Bhaiya, 3 times what you are celebrating today. And you know, when the yagna was finished, I looked at Uncle and I said to him, I said, Uncle, what is the secret to staying married for 60 years? And Bisoon, you know what he said to me? He said, Baba, I am still trying to figure that out myself after 60 years. And I have been working on my marriage for every day for 60 years. So I laughed, I smiled, everybody laughed at what he said. But it is very noteworthy to take note of that he tries every day to better his marriage, to perfect his marriage. So I went to Mama now and I said, Ma, I said, you tell me, what is the secret to staying married for 60 years? And she watched me like this and she smiled. And she watched her dulaha, she smiled. And she looked back, she turned, she faced me, and you know what she said? She said, Baba, with me, it is about knowing and understanding my dulaha. So she had me there for a while. I said, when you say knowing and understanding your dulaha, she said, Baba, after 60 years, we don't talk again. We communicate with the eyes. So she said, if we go out and he ready to go, he wouldn't tell me, girl, let me go, I'm ready to go. She said, when I watch him, the left eye go raise up 3 times. That means to say, I'm ready to go. And she said, if me I take him on, and you see that right eye start to jump, it's trouble when we go home. So they have developed, after 60 years, non-verbal communication. And what I have understood from that is that after the years, they have grown to know each other so much that they don't even have to say a single word to each other, because they have grown in unison and in oneness with each other. And that would have been some of the best advice I have gotten in my close to 40 years of practicing Panditai. This evening, Bhagavan Shankar has a beautiful little discourse with Parvati Devi, and very interesting that the Ramayana begins with the first chapter in Balkand, speaking about what? Not the birth of Sri Ram and the birth of Lakshman and Bharat and Shatrughan, but it begins with relationships and what we refer to in psychology as relationship dynamics. How do we chart the course forward in preparing for family life? Beautiful messages in the Ramayana Katha. Just a few lines I will share with you. Not very much, because we have much more to share before the end of the evening. Bolo Syavar Ramachandra ki! In the Balkand, the first chapter of Tulsidas Ji's Ramcharitamanas, Tulsidas Ji writes in this beautiful doha. Could you put a little more volume on the harmonium, please? हृदय विचारत जात हर केहि विधि दर्शन हो ही राम केहि विधि दर्शन हो हृदय विचारत जात हर केहि विधि दर्शन हो ही राम केहि विधि दर्शन होय गुप्त रूप अवतार प्रभु गुप्त रूप अवतार प्रभु गेहि जगन सब को सिया पति रामचंद्र की जय श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम सिया पति रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय वृंदावन कृष्ण चंद्र की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय उमापति महादेव की रामचंद्र भगवान की जय हृदय विचारत जात हर केहि विधि दर्शन हो गुप्त रूप अवतार प्रभु गहे जानत सबको सिया पति रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम उमापति महादेव की जय Lord Shiva is very anxious And now Parvati Devi sees there are certain changes that is taking place in his behavior, in his conduct. And she's asking of him, my lord, something is wrong. Tell me, what has you? Why are you so agitated? And he said, oh Devi, the Lord has taken avatar and he has come on earth to set the stage for mankind, to re-establish righteousness, to bring an end to the pains and sorrows that mankind face, and to bring order back to society. It is my desire to go and gain the darshan of this Bhagwan Vishnu in the form of the Rama avatar. Parvati was confused because she is thinking that if Bhagwan Shankar was God himself, why is he putting himself in a position where he wants to gain darshan of an ordinary mortal in the form of Sri Ram? Bhagwan Shiva went, and at that very said time, when Ravan had abducted the Vedvati Sita, remember he was enacting the role of an ordinary mortal, just as you and I, when we are faced with difficulty and sorrow and challenges, now being separated from Devi Sita, he was extremely agitated and stressed indeed, and searching for her all over. Bhagwan Shankar took that opportunity to go, and he received what we call the darshan, the blessings, by envisioning that beautiful form of Bhagwan Sri Ram. When Lord Shiva came back, Parvati Devi continuously questioned, why? Explain and tell me why. Bhagwan Shankar took time to sit with her and to explain to her and show her that this Sri Ram is no ordinary mortal, but he is the manifestation of God on earth. He came to fulfill the purpose of destroying all that is unrighteous and negative, and to re-establish and to reaffirm a firm foundation of dharma and righteousness and good conduct. No matter what Sri Shankar Bhagwan said to Parvati Devi, nothing that he said to her satisfied her until he reached the state where he said, O Devi, O Sati, if no matter what I am saying, you are not convinced, then you go on your own, and if you wish, devise some means by which you will test the might of the Lord. And in so saying, Sati left, and what she did, she went just in the forest where Sri Ram was looking and searching all over for Sita Devi. Sati, the consort, the wife of Lord Shiva, took the form of Sita Devi. Now again, where was Sri Ram? Sri Ram was in the forest. Where was Sita? Sita was abducted by Ravana. But Sri Ram did not know at that point in time that Ravan had abducted the Sita Devi. And so in looking and searching for Sita, Sati took the form of Sita, and she went now. What would Sri Ramchandraji do? When he saw Sati, the wife or the consort of Lord Shiva, in the form of Sita Devi, he bowed to her, and what he said to her, O Ma, O Devi, O Sati Mata, how are you, O Devi? How is my Shivji? How does he fare? Could you imagine how embarrassed and how ridiculed Sati Devi would have been? And she simply came back very quietly, and she sat down where Lord Shiva was. When Bhagwan Shankar saw she came back, he asked of her, he said, O Sati Devi, did you meet with Sri Ram? She shook her head. What went on? What were the circumstances surrounding your meeting with him? My dear devotees, she said, I simply made homage and I offered my salutations. She never once told him what she did she kept that from him. She concealed that from him. And my dear devotees, Bhagwan Sri Ram Chandraji was the Lord of the universe. Do you think that the guise of Sati could have formed any kind of conviction in the mind of Sri Ram that she was any other than the consort of Lord Shiva? And so when Sati saw Sri Ram bowing to her and asking for Lord Shiva, in her mind and in her heart, she was convinced that this is none other than the Lord himself. And so she kept that from Bhagwan Shankar. In Lord Shiva's mind, he took a mental oath. And what was that mental oath? That, oh Sati, today for the first time, you conceal the truth from me. Today for the first time, you prevented yourself from speaking the truth. And Bhagwan Shankar took a mental oath that from this day onwards, because you took the form of the goddess of the cosmos, Sita Devi, I cannot in any way at all resume any physical contact with you. And so from that day, there was a separation between Lord Shiva and his consort, Sati Devi. Devotees, Tulsidas Ji Maharaj Ji continues writing in the Balkand. He says, listen to what happened as Sati's father had a beautiful celebration that he was preparing for. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Jai Ram Ram, Shri Ram Jai Jai Ram. Dakshali Muni bole sabh karna lage bhar yajna ho Rama, karna lage bhar yajna. नेवते सदार संकल सुर, नेवते सदार संकल सुर, जे पावत मग भाग सिया पति रामचंद्र की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, वृंदावन कृष्ण चंद्र की, रामचंद्र की। दक्षली मुनि बोले सब करन लगे भर यज्ञ, करन लगे भर जाग। नेवत से दासदार सकल सुर, नेवते सादर सकल सुर, जे पावत मग भाग सिया पति रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम। Daksha was the father-in-law of Lord Shiva. Who was he? Daksha. And as the father-in-law of Lord Shiva, there was some little misunderstanding between the father-in-law and the son-in-law. And what was the misunderstanding? There was a sabha taking place, and Lord Bhagwan Shankar, my dear devotees, was in that sabha. And when Raja Daksha entered, you know, whenever the king would enter, everybody would rise out of respect. And for some reason or the other, consciously or unconsciously, Lord Shiva remained seated there. And Raja Daksha felt humiliated. He felt that Lord Shiva had disrespected him. He concluded, he made an assumption that it was out of disrespect. And as a result of that, he kept Lord Shiva in his mind. He never forgot him. And because of that, a little something like that continued to grow into a big rift, whereby because Raja Daksha felt slighted or embarrassed or ridiculed by the actions of Lord Shiva, he took it out on his daughter. So because of the son-in-law, he stopped talking to the daughter. and a little rift started. And as a result of this now, Daksha was preparing for a yagna. And so he invited hundreds and thousands of persons from other continents and kingdoms, and rishis and munis and pundits and all the devatas. And Sati Devi seeing all this commotion taking place in the skies, and she says to her husband, she says to Lord Shiva, she says, Prabhu, she says, there seems to be some festivities taking place at my father's home. Would you allow me to go? So she's asking him, she says, Prabhu, would you allow me to go and be a part of the festivities of my father's place? There is so much taking place, my Lord. If it be your bidding, please allow me to go to my father's home to share in the festivities. Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, bolo. Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama. Sati biloki vyoma vimana, jaat chale samudra vidhinana. Bolo. Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Rama Jai Rama, Jai Rama. Sura Sundari Kari, Sura Sundari Kari Kalana, Sura Sundari Karahi Kalagana, Sunata Sravana Kutahi Muni Dhyana, Sunata Sravana Kutahi Muni Dhyana. Bolo. Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Rama Jai Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Rama Jai Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Jai Jai Ramchandra ki Jai. Devotees. So Parvati Devi, Sati Devi rather, is asking Prabhu, please allow me to go by my father's home. He has this grandiose celebration taking place. And Prabhu, everybody is going. All of my sisters will be there. There is so much of celebration taking place, and I'm feeling so empty. I'm feeling so hurt that I cannot be a part of it. If you give me permission, I will go. Bhagavan Shankar, he looks at Sati and he sees the genuine expression of her intention to go. He knows very well of the relationship that he has with Sati's father. So he very cautiously chooses his words and he expresses these sentiments to his Dulahin, to Sati Devi. What does he say to her? That, oh Devi, it is my desire for you to be happy always. You see what he says? It is my desire that you should always be happy. And if going to your father's home will make you happy, then that is what I want. I think you should go to your father's home. But, and the but is, you know that he has a lot of animosity towards me for whatever reason that I don't even know. And I think if you go there, he will embarrass you. And if your father embarrasses you, then I don't think that I could be happy, and I will not be comfortable with that if you are embarrassed and if he would ridicule you. And it is only as a result of that that I think that you should not go. You see, the beauty in this part of the katha is that he did not tell her, no, don't go. What was his response? I love you. I want you to be happy. And if it will make you happy, I want you to go. But, so he establishes that in front, that the underlining theme, what underscores the relationship that we share with our loved ones is what? Is love. And everything else comes after. So he puts love first, and the fact that he genuinely would want her to be happy. And in wanting her to be happy, he would want her to go. But you have to look at consequences. You have to look deeper. That in wanting to make you happy, there are certain sacrifices that would have to be made. And in that sacrifice, I am telling you that if you go there, there's a possibility that he's going to embarrass you. And if he embarrasses you, I don't know how I am going to take that. So sometimes you put between a rock and a hard place. And it happens. A young couple came. I just started to do Punditai, and the couple just got married, and they're staying by the boy's parents. And some little thing, I don't know, the mother-in-law may have said, something, because everybody loved the children. And the Dulahin felt that was very bad and very insulting. And so she put an ultimatum. She said, no, you have to choose. It's me or them. Where this young boy going? The little bit of money working for, he had to buy a little bit of food, he had to pay a little bit of bills, he had to go Pennywise and buy a little powder and lipstick and thing. And now, where he going when you tell him, choose? So you see, love, yes, I love you, but then the consequences of that. And this is why, you see, the Ramayana is a book of dynamics. It shows us what we should do, how it should be done, what should not be done, and what are the consequences of what we do when these things develop. My dear devotees, despite what Bhagavan Shankar said, what do you think Sati Devi did? She still went. She still went. And so, my friends, when she went there, the yagna was taking place, and of course, the mother, her heart was so filled with joy. Which mother wouldn't love their child? And the mother wanted to get up and run and go and embrace the daughter because she knew they didn't invite her. And she's thinking that, look at my child, she's still come. And she's thinking, get up, and this man go blow with fumes, and he going to sit down to do this yagna. He go, turn up. Aji used to say, unhawe, unhawe means to turn over everything. She thinking now, she watching the dulaha, and she watching the daughter, watching the dulaha, watching it. What do you think she could do? What would you have done? Man, she get up and she run, go and she hug up she daughter and kiss she, and bring she to come and sit down right there. And this man now, every swaha, the face and the nose and everything turning up, when you're vexed and you're blue and you're blowing. My dear devotees, and Sati now is looking. This yagna is going on. No linga, no trishul, no bay leaves, no murti, no prasad to Shivji. So she's asking the sages, she's asking the Vipras, the Brahmanas, where are the symbols of Shivji? And they all bent their head. She said, how could you have a yagna without offerings to Shivji? And this is why you see, despite what puja you do, always put a little bit of sweet rice, at least Om Namah Shivaya, and you offer. Whatever puja you do, an offering must be made in the name of Bhagwan Shankar. And she turned up that whole yagna. And when she couldn't take it again, because the father started on her case, insulting and ridiculing her, she jumped into the fire that was blazing and she consumed herself in the flames of that fire. Just as Parvati and Bhagwan Shankar, just as Sati and Bhagwan Shankar, 20 years ago today, Bhaiya Valji, Bhaiya Valmiki ji, and my Didi Wendy ji, as we say, they tied the knot. And as I mentioned to you, every year you celebrate an anniversary is an opportunity for you to reflect. How do we celebrate an anniversary? Some people save money and they go away, they take a trip. Some people go for dinner, some people have a party, some people have a puja. However you celebrate your anniversary, make sure that within the course of that day or that week, you take time to introspect. What is to introspect? To look back where you have come from. What were the challenges that you had? What could we do to make this year a better year? In going forward, what are the things that we could not do? What are some of the words that we could not say? What are some of the practices that we could ease up on that would make our relationship better and improve the quality of the relationship that we share? Every single opportunity to celebrate your anniversary is an opportunity for reflection, for self-analysis. Don't only look at the other person and say, boy, you know, for this year, do more of this, do less of that. Look at yourself first. What kind of husband have I been? What kind of dulahin, what kind of wife was I? What could I do to better the quality of our relationship, making it better not only for ourselves, but for our children? Why does the Ramayana begin with the relationship between Lord Shiva and Sati Devi? Because with a good marriage and a good family life and good relations between a husband and a wife, my dear brothers and sisters, from that offspring, from that bond, good offsprings will come. And when the marriage is sound, the children will grow with qualities and behaviors and characteristics that would distinct them and give them distinction amongst their peers. Show me responsible parents and a loving husband and wife who is disciplined and who is devoted, and you will see success not only in a marriage but in a home and in a family. My dear brothers and sisters, the Hindu marriage is a very important, interesting and a very dynamic union between two people who have seen certain qualities and characteristics in each other, and they now would decide to spend the rest of their life together. A Hindu marriage, for especially my young brothers and sisters and young children who are here and who are listening and who may have the thought and intention of being married, I want you to take good note that the Hindu marriage is the most dynamic marriage ceremony amongst all the other ways of getting married. There are some cultures where they take two candles and they light the candles, and lighting the two candles, they light one candle and that's it, they're married. There are some traditions, they take two doves and they go in front of the church and they let go the dove, and that is the marriage. In some traditions, they drink wine and they toast, and that is marriage. So that in every culture, the ceremonies of the marriage would differ. The Hindu marriage is the most dynamic of them all, because it shows and it brings together not only two people who are in love and whose intention it is to spend their lives together, but it brings together communities and families. The Hindu marriage has a part to be played by every single member of the extended family. And this is why you will see that the Mamu has to play a part. Who's the Mamu? Mamu is the mother's brother. And then there's a part to be played by the poor. The poor is on whose side? It's on the father's side. And then the elder brother. And then the younger brother with the Lawa Bhawar. And when they're giving the, what we call the tilak. And then when you have to give the tagpat. And what about the neighbors? The community plays a part. Where do you go for the matikol? Where do you go for the lawa? You go amongst your villagers and you engage them in that marriage. So that marriage is a conglomeration of communities and the extended families coming together to make that pledge that we are going to sustain you. And this is why, my friends, that as long as you're a part of somebody's wedding, even as an invitee, you have a responsibility to ensure that whatever you can do to aid in the upkeep and in the sustenance of these two people. Where does the wedding begin? The wedding begins with responsible parents. And responsible parents, in seeing and knowing that their children are talking and they are developing a relationship, what happens is that the parents will go to the guru. Didi, your mother is here, Ma is here, and I heard she went and she spoke to Pundit Karmesh. Ah, you're smiling. Yes, I found that out. And they went by Pundit Karmesh and Mama was so excited. She said, Baba, check and see. What they were checking for? They were checking the yagna to see astrologically, according to the patra. The patra, when you give the child's year and month and date and time, when you get the correct Rasi name and you check the astrology, the yagna will tell you if they will live together happily, if they will have common goals, if their aspirations will be fulfilled together, if their children will be healthy, and if their minds will be conducive to academic excellence, all of these things. And from that, one says that yagna is matched together, bisoon. Then we do what? We get the lagan. What is the lagan? Lagan is the time to get married. You don't get married because, Baba, in August, look, Canada, Mausi and them go come down. And Tanti from New York and all of them go get flight because it's August. Check it out and say, nah, let me do the wedding for Easter. No. Again, you have to make sure that these two people who are to get married will have a home together. They will have children together. And you have to make sure that that foundation is well fixed, firm. Because if the foundation of your house is not strong, the slightest shake, what is going to happen? It is going to fall apart. So the lagan is fixed. Lagan bin kaise vibah hoi? Come, let us celebrate. Bare bare Pundit hai, bare bare jnani. The Pundits who are versed in astrology have checked and given approval for the date for the wedding. Soch ke lagan dari ho, lagan bin kaise vibah ho, mata pita dono aurat se aaye. Now they go on by the girl, and the mother and father come with the lota with the head cover, and they bring the girl now and they move the veil, and now everybody see and everybody glad, everybody happy. Sabse binay kari ho, lagan bin kaise. Leave everything fixed now. Wedding taking place, and we start preparing. Of course, a very important part of the wedding, a lot of us don't do it, but it can be simplified, and that is the chekai. What is the chekai? The chekai is the vagdan. The girl's male relatives will go with a ring to the boy's home, and they do what we call the vagdan, the giving of the words that today we commit our daughter's hands to you, and your son. Today we commit our son's hands to your daughter, and they do Ganesh Puja, and they bless the rings, and they exchange the rings. This is what we call, my dear devotees, the Chekai or the Vagdan, giving of the word of commitment, that we give our word today, that we are going to prepare our children for this marriage. And so, devotees, in Avocat, celebrations taking place Friday night, and in Scotch Road, Friday night now, all the ladies come together. And Ma, which part Mama sitting now? Where is Mama sitting? Oh, Jai Bhagwan. Oh, you dress up like the Hardy Night self, did you? Oh, Bhagwan. And my dear devotees, she goes with all the lady at the time of dusk, with the tasa playing, and they go now to worship Dharti Mata, that, oh Mother Earth, my child is going to get married. Come and let us consecrate the Vedi, that all the Devatas will come to bless her to live happy wherever she goes with the Dulaha. May my child be happy, and may all auspiciousness come. Oh Gauri Mata, we worship you. May you consecrate the Vedi and bring all the Devatas, that the lives of our children may be blessed, and the foundation of their life together in their marriage will be worthy of success, of prosperity, of health and good fortune. May they be blessed with progeny, children who would be worthy of enduring whatever challenges that life would bring, and that they may continue the generations of our forefathers. And this is why, my friends, that a very important part of the wedding ceremony is the performance of the Shrad the week before. Your Pundit is going to guide you. Why do we do Shrad? Why do we do Gita Path? And why is food taken out for the ancestors? When wedding ceremonies are done, it is a must and forms a fundamental part of our ceremonies. Why? Because your children, when they are married, opens the door for the continuation of the lineage of their father and their forefathers, so that the minute children get married, it means that they can start their family and they will continue the generations of the ancestors. And this is why it is so important to receive the blessings of the ancestors, so that the children, the married couple, would be blessed with progeny, with worthy and noble offsprings. My dear devotees, now the mother again, together with the poor, the father's sister, and all of the ladies perform a very important part of the ceremony, where they parch the rice, and we call that rice the what? It starts with D, Dhan. And they put it in the pot and they parch it and they sing that may this form the prasadam, or the offerings to the Devatas on the day of the wedding, that our children may be blessed with wealth and success and happiness and good fortune and progeny. The lava is now patching what night? Saturday night of the wedding. Jaise jaise lava chat ke, waise waise dulahin ke maiya chat ke. So, just how the lava patching in the pot, the dulahin mother dancing. So you know, they make fun and they laugh because it's a merry time, it's a happy time, where the family come together, the village come together to celebrate the wedding ceremony. Now the day of the wedding, my dear devotees, the Dulaha is now coming to the home of the Dulahin. Now the whole of Avocat is celebrating this boy coming from Scotch Road to take one of the most beautiful young girls away from the area of Siparia Road in Avocat. There's a beautiful part of the wedding ritual where the Dulaha father, the Dulahin's father rather, gives a piece of mango stem. Have you ever seen that? When the wedding ceremony starts and the Dulaha is by the Vedi and the mandap, the Dulahin father gives a piece of stem of the mango and he places it on the Vedi and he tells the Dulaha, demonstrate your might, your conviction your willingness and your ambition for me. I want to know in my mind and in my heart that you could work hard, that you are ambitious, and that you are willing and ready to take care of my daughter. You see? And why I choose to share these things with you, it is because Bhaiya Valmiki ji, Bhaiya Valji and Didi Wendy gives this excellent opportunity. You see, for a wedding, I like to share these things for a wedding. But the tassel has been playing so loud. The music has been so loud. And nobody are paying attention to the Baba because they're looking at how the Dulahin dressing and now all the dancing and all the fanfare. This is an excellent opportunity for me to share this with you and teach it to your young children also. My dear friends, everybody, children, important and special to them. And which mother and father wouldn't want the best for their child? You have 3 brilliant, very handsome and a beautiful daughter, 2 sons and a daughter. I pray, just as I'm sure that you do, that one day your daughter would enter into a worthy home where she would be happy and loved and respected and well treated. That your sons will bring home girls who would make you happy and proud to say, "Watch, that is my daughter-in-law." Tell your sons when they're choosing girls, not only beauty, duty has to be an important part also. Think, fellas, is this girl somebody who I will be happy with 10 years now, that I could have the confidence that she would be able to take care of my child and be a good mother? Would she be a girl who on occasions would say kya roti and make a nice choka when my mother and father coming over? Or only KFC and pizza and KFC and pizza? These are things that you have to look at. And this is why, my friends, that the Dulahin's father gives that piece of stick and he says, "Show me, son." It doesn't matter what job the boy have, you know. The boy doesn't have to be working in the Prime Minister's office or to be a doctor or lawyer. Once that you have ambition, Bistun, that you're willing to work and to better yourself and to provide for this girl, the Dulahin's father is saying, "Show me and tell me and prove to me that you're ready to work hard, you're ready to take charge, you're ready to make a happy life with my daughter." And he is given the task of breaking that mango stick and throwing it at the back of his head. And this is why, my friends, in this final line, Raja Janak had one daughter. One daughter. And he's saying, "Man, this child is my life. I don't want she to end up with any idhar-udhar. She has to be blessed with someone who's just like her, special." And so he took the bow of Lord Shiva that only she could have lifted, and he had what we call a swayamvar. You make sure that in your children finding partners for themselves, insist that you don't choose, don't tell them that you want to choose for them, but simply say, "Vashish," say to them, "Brandon," say to them, "Ved, we just want to be a part of the screening committee." Just let us be a part of the screening committee, my dear friends, because our children are special, and have some small little rules that these are the things that we expect and we hope for. We might not get 100% of what we wish, but we only want you to be happy. That, my dear devotees, laying down foundational rules, very important. And this is what a responsible father did when he did that test to see who could come to match. So we are accustomed hearing that Sita father put a bow there and say, "Whoever could lift up this bow will win the hands of my daughter." But when we think deeper and when we look deeper into what this father did, he was really saying to every single one of us sitting here, our children are very special and always have the ambition to want the best for them. And how do we want the best for them? Don't wait until when they get old and they reach the age where now they started bringing. You have to train your children and teach them from young what is acceptable, what is unacceptable, what is right and what is not right, what would cultivate our joy and happiness, what would sustain us, the things that are important and valuable. Train our children. And my dear brothers and sisters, like this, today we join together with this wonderful young couple. You know, my Dulahin was so happy when Bisoon called and said, please bring Dulahin and Srinivas, because today is my niece's birthday and she had an invitation since last year to go. And today also, my sister is having everybody over because she did not get to do because we had traveled for the holidays. She said, you know what? I'm going. You know why, Didi? Because we too are celebrating 20 years of anniversary together with Bisoonji. So Bisoon got married on the same year that I got married, on the same year that you got married. I'm so happy for this opportunity to come and to share this wonderful evening with you. So the final thing that Sri Ram and Sita Devi did when they got married, Bisoon said he remembers quite clearly that when Pandit Karamesh called for the malas were so beautiful. So we would bring those malas, we have them, and at this time we will ask Bhaiya Val and Didi Wendy to stand. Didi, you will take the chandan, and I want you to put a beautiful chandan, give it to Dulahin, put a chandan on your Dulaha's forehead. Om Shutva Dharmanase Shenam Pavanani Cha Sarvasah Yudhishthira Shandanavam Punareva Vyabhashubham. Put a little perfume for Dulaha. Take the arti. Om Chandrama Manaso Jataha Chaksho Surajata Shodana Shiparasha Mokaragnirajayataha. Om Tatsat. Whenever a Dulahin does arti for her Dulaha, it is by no means an act of submission, but it is the Dulahin reminding him that you are my Vishnu Bhagwan, you are my Lord. Remember that you should always treat me like Mahalakshmi. So we will give the Dulaha the mala first. So Bhaiya, you will put the mala first for your Dulahin, and Bhaiya Val says to Didi Wendy, yeah, hold up, hold. 20 years, look how anxious he is to put that mala. 20 years after, my love for you has only grown. Today I place this mala around your neck. I pray that Bhagwan may continue to bless us with unending love and infinite bliss in the relationship that we share. Oh my beautiful Devi, I love you. बहुत प्यार करते हैं तुमको सनम, बहुत प्यार करते हैं तुमको सनम, कसम चाहे ले लो, कसम चाहे ले लो, खुदा की कसम, बहुत प्यार करते हैं तुमको। Put the mala for your Dulahin. बहुत प्यार करते हैं तुमको सनम। Put the mala for your Dulaha. बहुत प्यार करते हैं तुमको। And now embrace each other. Siya Ramchandra ki. सिया दाले राम गल जय माला, सिया दाले राम गल जय माला, जय माला री जय माला, जय माला री जय माला, सिया दाले राम गल जय माला, सिया दाले राम गल जय माला। दुल्हा तो श्री राम बनी है, दुल्हा तो श्री राम बनी है, लक्ष्मण देवरा सै बाला, सिया दाले राम गल जय माला, सिया Mangalam Bhagavan Vishnu, Mangalam Garudadvaja, Mangalam Pundarikaksham, Mangalaye Tano Hari. Ramchandra ki Jai. Baithiye, be seated, and may Bhagwan bless all of you. At this time now we will let me invite the very beautiful daughter of Bhaiya Val and Didi Wendy, Vedaji. She would now come and she will address us for the rest of this evening's proceedings. Jai Siya Ram.